How many discounts does USAA Auto Insurance offer? Too many to say here. Multi-vehicle discount, safe driver discount, new vehicle discount, storage discount, legacy.
How many discounts will you stack up? Visit USAA.com/auto discounts. Restrictions apply.
Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and Auto Camp, I just slept under them. Picture me serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
This Friday, Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan are back to switch things up in Disney's Freakier Friday.
OMG, yes.
It's an absolute riot.
Woo!
And the only movie that can be described as
So much weirder than the last time. What last time?
it's the frequel
You ready?
we've been waiting for.
That absolutely slays.
What deeply out of touch old person came up with that?
You did.
Wow.
Don't miss the comedy event of the summer for all ages. Disney's Freakier Friday in theaters this Friday. Get tickets now. Rated PG. Parental guidance suggested.
Pie in the Sky Media. This series contains adult language and descriptions of graphic violence throughout. Listener discretion is advised.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, Murder Chronicles Nation. First of all, let me apologize for the late publication of this episode. I had an emergency trip to the Heartland. That's New Jersey for the uninitiated. And I didn't get back until late last night. So I apologize. I know you've missed us, and here we are. Carolyn, how are you?
I'm doing well. It sounds like I was eavesdropping on your conversation, and it sounds like your mentor passed away, and you dropped everything to fly and pay your respects. That's awesome.
That's what happened. It's we're Gen X, right? So when we hit high school, there was a large population of students that were looking for their Dead Poets Society teacher, right? So which was not fair to the teachers that we were looking for that type of inspiration, right? Mm-hmm. And if you were lucky, you had a teacher that stepped up, and I did. And this guy was great, and he was inspirational, and he was not in the poetic way that Robin Williams' character was in the movie, but in a very profound way nonetheless. Because he was the first teacher that treated us like grown-ups, that treated us like an adult, that didn't talk down to us, that, he would swear, he would laugh, he would tell jokes, he would admit when he didn't know something, he was available in his vulnerabilities and in passing on wisdom and mistakes that he had made, and it was like an awakening for a lot of his students. You're like, oh, this is kind of how adults are, right? This is how someone who doesn't give a shit about flexing authority over you and wants to make you better and wants to educate you and wants to inspire you. And when I turned 18, he threw a party in class for my 18th birthday. Okay, I went, wow, that's fucking really, really nice. Okay. And he takes me aside afterwards and he says, all right, listen, dipshit. This is actually a party to celebrate your juvenile record being sealed. Okay. You live in a country that gives assholes like you a second chance. Okay. Your record is wiped clean. Stop fucking up. All the cops in North Jersey are just waiting for you to turn 18 and to step out of line. So you got to get the fuck out of here. And that's why I moved to Los Angeles. And he was right.
I love that. And it's so real. He was speaking to you in language that you could relate to, because if he talked with you like, Branden, I'm really concerned.
No,
that wouldn't have worked.
No, he's a bottom line kind of guy. So it was, and that was just, I mean, one of, 1,000 things that were inspirational, that were funny, or that were jokes, or irascible kind of wit that he had, that he could, he could wield it as a weapon or as a salve. His irascible personality, he could make you feel better, or really humble you in a way that you didn't wind up hating him. You're like, oh, he was right, I was being a dick there. Or, yeah, I am obsessing over this girl in an irrational kind of way. Or grades, yes, they are. Yes, grades are important, regardless of what you think. It doesn't matter what's on your record, but your ability to learn and retain, and to understand that you're going to have to do shit in life that you think is pointless, but you need to do it anyway. And just put your head down and put the work in and go for it. So like all of that great stuff, and so many former students showed up, and his daughter, who's my age, in her eulogy, she just read posts from Facebook that students who couldn't be there, who chimed in, sharing their thoughts and their feelings about his passing. So yeah, I'm really glad that I went. It was it hit hard, because I haven't seen him in a long time. But I'm glad I went, and it like they should. It became a celebration, and it became, a really joyous, laughing kind of event through our tears. And what's that phrase? I think it's an Italian phrase. May there come a day where their memory brings a smile to your face before a tear to your eye. There never won't be a tear to your eye, but hopefully one day a smile will come first. That kind of thing. So
I think that I think that's the tragedy. One of the many tragedies of being human is that when you are an amazing person like this guy was, and teachers are so critical, like mentors in general for people, and just people, right? And then you don't get to hear. I mean, I wish he could have heard all the people that he influenced, because, I mean, let's face it, being a teacher isn't easy. It's really, really tough. Yeah. But it sounds like he really, at least his family is getting to hear that and getting to see what an amazing person he was.
Yeah, and I think he knew. I think he must have known, because no one really, there weren't a lot of teachers that anybody in my high school gave a shit about, right? But there were like, not lines out his door, but he was never alone in his room. He always made time. Students who needed to talk to him about something, or needed some advice, or needed this or that. So,
I mean, it's kind of a passing. I mean, not to go on and on about it, but just, I remember I saw a teacher of mine not too long ago, it actually was quite a while ago. And I was in there with my kids when they were littler, so it was quite a while ago, but I'm still remembering it. And the first thing, he looks at me and he's like, Danza, because that's my maiden name is, I was Carolyn Danza. And it was like, no time had passed, and he was remembering like all the little antics that he was my 6th grade teacher. And it was like bittersweet, because, he was old. And anyway, I saw him as like, he was the good looking teacher that everybody wanted to be around and hang around. He was funny. And so anyway, I'm sorry that you had this loss, but it sounds like it came full circle.
Yeah, it did. And it was, it was time, and he cancer bullshit, and he smoked a long time, so it's just it's what's going to fucking happen, right? Take care of your body. Right?
I can totally picture this guy being your mentor.
Yeah. So all right. Anyway, so obsessed. I'm so proud of myself, and I'll tell you why. I'm really, really fucking proud of myself. Did you ever see The Hateful Eight, the Tarantino movie Hateful Eight?
I think I saw bits of it.
The whole big question in the second,
like in the cabin, right?
Yeah, exactly. The whole big question in the second act is who poisoned the coffee that killed Kurt Russell. Okay, right? And Walt Goggins plays this irascible, kind of racist, Southern kind of fuck you kind of guy. And the whole time he's pointing to one guy, and the guy's going, "No, it wasn't fucking me, it wasn't me." And then right near the end, it reveals he was right. And he's got the greatest moment. He goes, I fucking knew it. All right. And it was great. It was so redemptive for him. I had a moment like that. I had a moment like that. My first note, and I'm holding up my notes. My first note on this was, wow, tall, sexy blonde seems really desperate for a hot 18-year-old. That seems weird that she would just latch on to some random dude online. But I didn't know the whole story. And then at the end, I was like, I fucking knew it. Okay, but we'll get to that.
It's so hard to keep it together because I was like this. And first of all, let me say, obviously a young man lost his life and we're going to be laughing. And it's like full stop, terrible, terrible, terrible.
Yes.
But
100% right.
I really wanted to keep that momentum going of like, just that reveal at the end of like,
yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. It was such a great turn. It was such a great turn. You know, Malcolm Gladwell says the difference between an anecdote is a story involves a betrayal of the audience. Right.
Yeah.
And then there was a big fucking betrayal here. That was great.
God.
It was delicious.
Can you even believe it?
Yes, that's the thing. Yes. At the end, I went, oh, fuck. It completely makes sense. These two desperate, right? Like lonely, frumpy, whatever, sad, nothing to wake up for, nothing to look forward to, are like, yeah, now I'm hot again. Oh, how I've missed you. They weren't even talking like 18-year-olds, right? Okay. And you with your breathy rendition of Tall, Sexy Blonde. OMG.
No, I'm sorry, but I felt like they were talking like 18-year-olds. Like
no, 18-year-olds don't talk like in that poetic kind of, you know, she was talking like it was right out of like 50 Shades of Grey or like some romance novel that she undoubtedly reads.
I mean, just like when I talk about the OMG, it's like, this is what they're getting all hot and bothered about. OMG. Like
she goes, that's what kids are saying these days. All right, but anyway, let's get to hold on. But we'll get over. Okay. So the reveal right away. So the initial conceit of this whole story is basically, you know, Fat Tom, all right, wants to be Muscle Tom and get girls. Okay. Because he's obviously going through a midlife crisis. You know, that happens a lot. Fears that his best years are behind him and that those years were wasted. Even though he's got a loving family and a job and he's being a provider, that's not enough for some people. Okay, great. I'm not judging the guy. He accidentally wanders into the teen section of Pogo. Bullshit. Okay.
I'm going to be judging the guy. Okay. You don't have to,
Bullshit.
but I'm ready.
Okay. I'm not judging what he felt about his station in life or where he wound up. Okay. Because I don't know him personally, but the excuses that he kind of made of how he met Jesse I think are bullshit. So mistakenly went into the teen section and strikes up this conversation with Jesse, and they hit it off right away. Again, she seemed desperate. Now we know why. And he went a little bit overboard. And again, like he has to give himself a black belt in karate. Right. But that goes back to my bullshit where I'm like, I think karate lives in me somewhere.
Oh my gosh, I forgot. I didn't even think about that. Yeah,
yes.
You know, if you were making a fake profile, that would be ladies.
No, that would be number one. I also know karate.
I've been burned.
But listen, I know karate. I can protect you, girl. I know karate. All right. Like I would totally include that in a fake profile, right? So I get it, but he went a little overboard there. And then he had these fucking war fantasies, which is real, which is very real. I've worked with a couple of I won't get specific, but with a couple of former military guys. And in one conversation we were having, a creative conversation, he kind of drifted off for a second. I'm like, yo, you all right? He goes, oh yeah. Just there was a mass shooting in the state where I live. And he goes, and I got to be honest, man, one of my fantasies is that I'm just going to like pull into Walmart, like during an active shooter scenario and go in there and fucking save the day. Like, wow. Okay, dude. That's, I guess, you know. And this is a guy who's seen combat and has like done it. I think he just misses killing people, basically.
I have an experience with that where I went on a ride along, and I'm not going to say what it was about, but he's now a civilian, but he was in law enforcement, going on a ride along. We'd been together for hours going on this ride along. And then all of a sudden he's reenacting this situation, and he like lifts up, and I'm seeing that he's got like a gun, and he's got rows and rows of ammo like wrapped around his belt. And I'm literally like, and he pulls it out, and it's like, he was ready to go down. Like, I mean, I can totally see your guy saying that, because it's just a mindset that I don't have. Like, I don't, I'm not used,
Me either. I don't have a hero complex. I don't. But so I did this other podcast for one of the first shows I did was called Can You Survive This Podcast? Okay. We worked with a Navy SEAL. And one thing that you find, and what we would do on that is we would put non-military people into survival situations and pepper them with questions and see if they would make the right choices and be able to survive the ordeal. Okay. And one of them was always an active shooter. Okay. All right. You're in a mall and bang, 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 bang. You know it's gunshots and people start freaking out. What do you do first? There's a concrete like planter over here, and there's a table 10 feet away, and there's a lunch table 5 feet away. Like, what do you do? Okay. And so you go to the concrete planter, but then you're told why. And then you're explained the difference between cover and concealment, right? Concealment, they can't see you. Cover protects you from bullets. We're like, oh, okay, cool. So those two different things. And invariably, when it was a dude that was in it, when it comes to the point, all right, you've subdued one of the assailants, you have a clear exit this way, or you can pick up his gun and go kill the other people. It's clearly you get away and call the police, but they're like, oh man, are my kids with me? Like, because the hero complex starts coming in. I don't
think that's a male thing, though. I really don't. Because...
Well, you think no women are like, I'm going to pick up the gun and go kill the other bad guys. The women are like, I get the fuck out of there.
We'll be back after a quick break.
With a major selection of the looks your kiddos love, starting at just $4 in the Walmart app, a new school year means a stylish new them. Who knew? Find skater skirts and Crocs that say, I'm casual but cool. Sparkly sneakers that say, it's my classroom, you're just learning in it. And preppy polos that say, I'm the teacher's pet, even if they're mommy's menace at home. Find their favorite styles starting at just $4 in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
It's summer. Time to enjoy long days, lazy nights, and great food. Because Uber Eats has deals all summer long. So, when hunger strikes, don't sweat it. Delicious deals are just a tap away on Uber Eats. Enjoy all your favorite grocery items delivered straight to you. Get ice cream, soda, and snacks from your favorite stores like Wegmans and CVS and make the most of every moment. Now that sounds like a good summer. Order now on Uber Eats. Terms apply. Product availability varies by region. See app for details.
Well, I mean, this actually happened to me recently where I was at my son's, I was volunteering in his class for his 3rd grade class. And all of a sudden they're like, okay, we're going to be doing a test. And it was the freakiest thing this Gen Xer has ever, I mean, it was really weird because it was a test, but they were sheltering in place test. And so they were like, okay, this is really, I mean, they're trying to tell this to a elementary school children. It was so sad. It was so
that's our fucking reality. Yeah.
Right. I know. And then as it was actually happening and we were like, okay, everybody's going to go and they're going to get with their teacher and the teacher's going to make sure the door's locked. And I was like, what is happening? And I'm like getting on the floor with all the kids and we're getting underneath a table and the kids are all huddling around. And this sweet little girl was like, getting me over so I could sit next to my son, and I was holding my son. I mean, it was just weird. And we had to shelter there for like 3 minutes. And then they were telling us what was going to happen. And I was thinking, I wouldn't do this. I would be waiting over by the door behind it, waiting for this person to come in because if he has, anyway, all these thoughts were going to my head about how I was like, not.
Right, but if you had a clear exit, a safe, clear exit, you grab your kid and you get the fuck out of there. Right.
I mean, it really would. I'm just talking about a situation that was that scenario that you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about when I would want to be a hero.
Right, to protect kids.
I would think that there's no way that any of us are going to live because he could blast you through the door.
Yeah, and you might as well go out fighting.
Right. So I'm just saying, like, I don't think that it's just men that have the hero complex. It's just it depends on what the situation is, you know?
Yeah. Well, this guy.
Think that what you're tapping into is this weird kind of like macho stuff.
Yeah, be on the news like this, civilian picked up a AK or an AR-15 and killed the rest of the bad guys. Yeah, that would be fucking great. It's ridiculous, but it would be fucking great.
So, you wouldn't do that. You do your karate moves.
Oh gosh, how fucking awesome would that be? Same story, but he did it without a weapon. He did it with his hands and his feet.
Yes.
Showing
with Brandon Morgan.
Incredible karate skills. And then I'd be all humble. Like I just talk about the dojo and like my master, right?
Right.
Exactly what I would do. I wouldn't take credit. I'd share credit.
This Tommy character is like all about taking all the credit and believes that he's this person. It's not just it's become his reality.
Well, I'll tell you when it got scary for me, and it did get scary for me. Yes, we're laughing and we're making fun of these people, but to your earlier point, a young man lost his life. Okay, and this is when it was. So it started. I wrote this down. It started getting real for Tom. Okay, and it reminded me of the Hannibal Lecter novels. Okay, because in all of those Hannibal Lecter novels, the bad guy that wasn't Hannibal, okay, was talking about transformation. Like Buffalo Bill was becoming a woman and using the skins, right? And in Red Dragon, Ray Fiennes' character was transforming into something that he wished that he could be. Okay, and that is a criminal fucking psychosis. Okay, that leads people to become fucking serial killers and leads people to do this kind of shit. So, he was going from a frumpy, unhappy, impotent man, okay, and wanted to transform into this virile fucking Marine sniper with sweaty muscles saving the day. Like, I'm surprised he didn't mention the fucking damsel tied up on the railroad tracks, right? That he was going to go out and fucking save with one hand while, with a fucking bullwhip and a guy with a twisty mustache was the bad guy, right? His fantasy was getting so real. And you said 2 words, you said the fractured reality, which is exactly fucking what he was living in. So we can make fun of it, but that, I think, is exactly what led to him fucking pulling the trigger. He became Tommy. The transformation happened.
And that's the thing about human behavior that is always fascinating to me, is that obviously this guy, I don't know what his mental health state was throughout the decades, but like that this can actually happen when you build something up and build something up and build something up. And then it's like, it becomes real. And the mind has the power to do that,
Yep. So now here's when things got a little confusing for me and what threw me off the scent. Okay. Was when Jesse actually started acting like an 18-year-old for a minute, where she searched out one of his friends to flirt with. Because that's 100% high school girl bullshit. Okay. Like, oh, you broke my heart, you hurt my feelings. I'm going to go and flirt with one of your friends and make you jealous. Like that is by the book, high school girl. Okay. So I went, oh wow, this is weird. Okay. That's the kind of desperation that you want to see, that would make sense. Okay. Yeah. The need for validation, need for all that. Okay. So she goes trolling through Tommy's like work friends and finds Brian, an actual 22-year-old, an actual peer. Excuse me?
Beefcake 15, 17.
An actual fucking beefcake, real dude, right? And she tells him about Tom, right? I mean, like she's actively playing, not even trying to hide it.
Right.
Playing one against the other. And now if you really get deep and get meta in it, all right, that actually is like a thirsty, lonely housewife who needs attention from somebody. She can't let this go. And if she's losing Tommy, then it's going to be Beefcake Brian, and she'll put on the same facade and the same. And you know what's really disgusting about it is that she's using pictures of her own daughter, like her actual daughter.
And here's the thing. She's doing exactly what he's doing, but in a totally different way. It becomes about this jealousy that is the fuel for her. Like, you can see her seeing herself with her hair blowing in the wind, the 18-year-old bombshell, which, okay, forget it. It's my daughter. I can still have this vision.
It was me once. It used to be me. I could be on the cover of a romance novel with Beefcake with my hair flowing in the wind and his rippling muscles saving me.
It really wasn't about these other people. It was about, it's like VRU. It's like, it's totally the fantasy in the mind. And like, they were just consumed by it.
Gosh, and it's so powerful. And that's why these AI tech people think that that's where we're headed. That's where we're headed.
That scares me to the core.
Not if I know karate in my VR. Are you kidding? If I could go kick ass.
God, you're already like gone. We're never gonna see you again in your realm of karate with Chuck Norris, and you've got hairy chest and like,
right. And I could do like front kicks to the fucking jaw, right? And I could block every punch.
Like going and having an intervention with you, and it's like recorded, right?
I'm in the dojo. You cannot interrupt me in the dojo.
Oh my gosh, that is truly frightening. That is truly frightening.
But if it's real, if it gets if in my brain it's the reality, and I'm oh my gosh, and that's what they were getting.
That's
what they were getting. It was real when they would have those. You said it. Thousands of messages. That's them living in that fucking reality. And the funniest, not funny, a young man died. But the funniest fucking thing to me is thinking about Frumpy Tom and Jesse's mom thinking that they're each talking to 18-year-olds and for hours and hours and hours at a time. Tom ensconced in his basement with his precious, right? Like you said, on the computer, right? And his other mom, folding laundry, right? Watching Jeopardy, but texting back and forth, having this torrid virtual love affair. And both of them were catfishing each other. When you dropped that it was Jesse's mom, it was like, because I flew all day yesterday, my fucking flight was delayed. I was so tired, but I'm sitting alone in the quiet of my house. I went, I fucking knew it.
You know what's crazy too is that we had a friend, and she worked for a basically, like, they do studies on people who want to do drugs and how to get, it's like psychological drugs. And they found that like a drug is considered successful in these trials if they're 50% as effective as placebo.
Oh, wow.
And so that placebo is so powerful that even people, they think they're getting it and they're not getting it, but their brain believes that they're getting it and they have benefits. It's just crazy how powerful the mind is.
Remember the show MASH?
Yeah.
Okay, that was on in my house a lot.
Hot Lips Houlihan.
Hot Lips Houlihan. So that was on in my house a lot. And I remember this because it really affected me because I didn't think it was true. But to your point, it was there was a shortage in the MASH unit of a painkiller, right? So everyone in post-op was like suffering and in a lot of pain. And one of the doctors, probably Hawkeye, because he got all the cool storylines, they just had like sugar pills, they had placebos, right? And they said, because there's this new research coming out that the mind is about whatever. And so they went to each guy and they're like, all right, listen, this is super powerful. I can only give you like half of one of these. The guy's like, no, man, I'm in a lot of pain. You got to give me the whole one. He goes, I can't give you the whole one. I remember
this episode.
Yeah, I can't give you the whole one. I'll give you half.
Yeah.
And then we'll see how it feels. And within like a half hour, everybody in the post-op ward was sleeping quietly. and out of pain. You know, I doubt it's that TV land kind of effective, but placebo is
But if
powerful.
people believe it,
if you believe it.
And the way that he sold it is like, it's too powerful to give you a whole one.
Yep, exactly.
You know?
And
it's
listen,
all about the presentation.
And to keep the pop culture TV train rolling, you know, one of the greatest quotes from 90s TV is George Costanza. It's not a lie if you believe it.
Exactly.
Right.
And they both believed
it.
And she had
it's the transformation.
Yes.
You know, the transformation. And I say that in a really scary Hannibal Lecter-y kind of way, because look what happened. Tom became Tommy. He took a gun and shot his romantic rival and killed him. You know, and that's the really. Can you hear that happening? Do you hear the gardeners? You do?
Oh yeah, I thought it was an airplane, but yeah.
No, all right. So they're just at the front door. They'll be done in like 30 seconds. All right, come on.
I can't hear him anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So he kills his romantic rival. He lies in wait, shoots him 3 times through the glass, and for what? To maintain a fake relationship.
Well, he still doesn't know that it's fake.
But he knows that he's fake.
He knows that he's fake,
right.
But he believes that Jesse loves him for who he is. That was the ultimate high for him. Like, I still want to be with you, sniper, Marine sniper. Even though you're the age that you are, which should have been a huge clue.
Huge clue. But here's the other thing that should have been a huge clue also, is that it kept up even after Tom's wife fucking pulled his covers. Here's a picture of my family, dipshit. Here's Tommy. He's actually 46 and he's got a bald patch and a belly. And he's got 2 teenage daughters who are closer in age to you than they are to me. Blah, 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 all that. Mm-hmm. Should have figured it out then.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
But no. And kudos to that wife for like, I'm not here for one bit of your bullshit.
I love that part.
Me too, man. That was fucking
part.
great.
And I loved how she sent a letter and she didn't even try to reconcile.
No.
She was like, see you later.
Right. And doesn't even blame her.
Oh my gosh.
Because if the reality was it's an 18-year-old girl, it's not her fault. Right? She's tricked. And she was saying, she was being very motherly. You need to be careful who you believe online. Right? Yeah. Which is something that almost 20 years later, I'm teaching my kids now because they make stupid fucking decisions online.
Well,
you know?
And to your point about how earlier in the show when you were saying like he had a good life, you know, he had 2 teen daughters and he had a wife. I mean, his based on I don't know what the ins and outs of their relationship was, but it seems like she was a really good person that she took the extra time to write a freaking letter and say, you know, hey, you know,
there could have been a bit of woman scorned, you know, inspiration behind that letter and not all I'm being a good person. But either way, she took the time to do it, you know.
Absolutely.
And it's just a matter of perception. You know, he hated his life. Other people, you know, would give their fucking give an arm and a leg to have a life like that. You know, to have a stable, you know, relationship, to have 2 healthy kids, to have a job, where you can put food on the table. I mean, for some people, there have been times in my life where that was the top of the mountain. You know, like, okay, I'm doing this, and that's an honorable thing. You know.
And here's the thing too, instead of taking a look at his life, taking stock, going and working out and achieving that body that he so desperately wanted, being a hero in the community in different ways,
learning karate,
actually getting a black belt, he chose to go squirrel away online and like get involved in this sordid relationship.
Yeah, he took the easy path.
For sure.
Yep, took the easy path and got completely just enveloped in the fantasy world, and that became his reality, and that's what he wanted to be his reality more than the actual real world, you know. And that's always a fucking recipe for disaster. And like we said, a young man lost his life. So where is Tom now?
I think he's going to be getting out of prison here pretty soon. He's in prison, but he got sentenced to 20 years, and that 20 years is coming up. And I don't know if he gets anything off with good behavior or anything like that, but.
Wow. And tall, sexy blonde?
She basically, last I had heard from just the tiny bit of research that I did, which wasn't much, she lives with her parents, and just Brian's parents, she was listed on they did have a lawsuit against the corporation where they worked because of the lighting, the security not being good and stuff like that.
Right.
And she was and then also included Tom Montgomery, because they didn't want him to go and make a bunch of money writing books and things like that. And then they also had the mother listed too, but then they dropped her because they were like, you know what? And he literally said she's a piece of dirt. That's what the dad. And she doesn't, hasn't, it sounds like, been accountable for what she did, what the part that she played.
Because she played a huge part.
Absolutely.
She didn't pull the trigger, but you could say she fucking loaded the gun, right?
I mean, legally there was nothing that they could have done, but
right.
From the standpoint of being a woman in her mid 40s or close to 50, been around the block, she should have known what she was doing in terms of stirring the pot. And when he started talking about, violence and all that
workplace kind of shootings and all that kind of shit. Yeah.
I mean, it's like, what did she think was going to happen?
See, but girls, man. Listen. I knew girls in high school that dated, it's cliche that girls like the bad boys and girls like troublemakers because they're exciting. But then there was a type of girl that dated like fucking criminals, people who were like getting in fights every day, and getting kicked out of school and getting arrested and like violence and all that. And because that did it for them.
Well, it's the bad boy. It's the bad boy.
Yeah,
it's
but more than that, like, especially like, oh yeah, he beat the shit out of that guy because he looked at me like that. Like I heard, like, and that. So if she's really playing this persona, the more demonstrative this guy's, feelings and jealousies were, the more exciting it would get for her.
Yeah, exactly.
And so
that was her fantasy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And she was so hooked into the mainlining of the fantasy that she didn't care about what could possibly happen. She was like,
yeah, so I can't, there's got to be a negligence thing or I don't know. Well, either way, the fact that he was only doing 20 years, I don't like. The fact that nothing really happened to the other one, I don't really like.
I couldn't believe that they couldn't get her on something related to these photos that she was taking of her daughter.
Of course.
I mean,
nailing underpants. I mean, gosh, it's crazy. All right, well, listen, I got to run. But suffice it to say, I fucking loved this episode. It was filled with a lot of twists and turns and a lot of I don't believe it's and a lot of holy shits and so great job, well told as usual.
Thank you.
And I look forward to next week. So Murder Chronicles Nation, we very much hope that you enjoyed this episode as much as we did. If you did, please go to Apple Podcasts and leave a review and a comment. It helps us out more than you know. And please, again, consider patronizing the great companies that support our show. Carolyn, great work this week. Anything you'd like to add?
Thank you. Just the same old. If you have, excuse me, I'm sorry, rate, review our podcast. That really helps. And thank you so much for listening. And we'll see you next week.
Yeah. Catch up with us next week, Nation. Talk to you soon. Stay safe.
The Murder Chronicles is a pie-in-the-sky production recorded live in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. We are produced by Brandon Morgan and myself, music by Soundstripe. For Pie in the Sky Media, I'm Carolyn Osorio, your writer and host. Thanks for listening.